calf stretch first of all. So grab your half dome or your rolled up towel, whatever you're using. Pop it down on the floor. And then top of the foot at the top of your dome or your towel, heel down, and then step your other leg to about hip width apart. And then just take a moment there to allow yourself to settle into position. So check that you aren't holding too much tension through your jaw. Let your jaw relax. Let your neck and shoulders relax. Arms are just hanging down by your sides. Make sure that your arms aren't hanging in front of your body. They want to be down by your sides. And have your weight back through the heel of the leg that's on the dome. So that's where you're holding most of your weight. Check that those ribs, morning, check that your ribs aren't lifted. Let your ribs just relax down. And then check again, are you holding a lot of tension through the front of your thighs? Can you let the front of your thighs be as relaxed as possible? So you don't need to have those really tight. Let those be a little bit soft. And once you've got all of those pieces in place and it feels okay, see if you can step your free leg a little bit further forwards. As always, if it makes you feel like you're going to fall backwards, then you've gone too far, so you need to bring it back a little bit. So you want to find a point at which you can have that foot, but you've got all of those other pieces in place. And then just take a few breaths there. So you're now allowing the back of your leg to release any tension and to stretch out. So you tend to feel this mostly in your calves. It's good. Let's do that on the other side. So switch to the other side. Again, top of your foot to the top of your dome or your towel, heel down, and then step your other leg to hip width. Body scan again, so jaw, neck and shoulders. Check where your arms are hanging, making sure they're not in front. Ribs down. Get your weight back through the heel of the leg that's on the dome. And then notice if you're really holding and gripping through your thighs. Can you let your thighs just be as relaxed as possible? And take a few breaths there. Again, we're just giving time for your body to allow your muscles to start to release any tension and tightness and find their true length again. We tend to get everything short and tight. We want things to relax and lengthen. Okay, so we're going to go to the top of the foot stretch now, but keep your dome here because we're going to come back to it in a second. So top of the foot stretch, you're taking one leg behind, tucking your toes under, and then resting on the top of your toes, on the bridge of your toes. Again here, you want to check that you aren't arching your back. Try and let everything else just be as it was before. Nice and relaxed. If you need to hold on to something, obviously, feel free. If it's making your toes really cramped up, keep coming out of it and stretching them the other way. Try the other side, same thing. And notice, is it different one side to the other? Good, yeah? Let's go to calf stretch again. So just going to do the same calf stretch that we did before, but hopefully we've released a little bit, so it should be a little bit easier this time around. So again, top of the foot to the top of your dome or your towel. Step your other leg forwards. Do that quick scan to make sure that you're not holding and creating tension through your body. And then hold it for a few breaths and see if you can maybe step this free leg a little bit further forwards this time. And if you can't, it doesn't matter, be where you can maintain that really good alignment. Couple more breaths, just holding here. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. When you're ready, switch to your other side. Again, exactly the same. Ball of the foot to the top of the dome, heel down. Step your other leg. Checking for tension. Just hold in position for a couple of breaths until you feel that stretch. Just start to release a little bit. So if it's still feeling really tight, don't try and step your leg any further forwards. But if it feels okay, see if you can maybe take it forwards a smidge. Good. All right, let's get rid of that half dome or your towel now. Pop it to the side. And we're going to come to the pelvic list next. So we're going to stand with our feet hip width apart. Have a look at the outside edges of your feet and make sure that they're as straight as possible. You don't want your feet to be really turned out. And then before we even start to list, we're going to back our weight up through our heels and then pressing all of your weight down into that one leg to allow the other leg to lift away from the floor. And then just lower it down again. Just tap your foot and lift again. So trying to keep your weight back through that heel, and it will feel like a lot of work in this standing hip and your glutes on this side. Try and control it, so really slow as you lift the leg away from the floor, and then really slow as you lower it back down. Really controlled, because often we'll lift it up and then just drop it down. So see if you can get that control on the lower. See how much range you can find there. Can you really press that leg down to lift the other side as high as you can? Remember, you can always hold on if you need to. Keep checking that your weight hasn't snuck forward to your toes. It really wants to be back through your heels. Oh, they're tough, they're tiring. Let's do the same on the other side. Again, just check your feet. Make sure you're in good alignment and then really pressing all of your weight down as the other side floats up. Notice, is it harder on this side? Is it easier on this side? You always have one side that's much harder, and I don't have as much range on this side. My balance isn't as good. And this side, keep checking that your weight is back through your heels. And again, try to get as much range as you can. And all of the work is in that standing leg. So again, hips and your glutes. And making sure that it's not the back, your lower back on the opposite side that's just pulling that hip up. We don't want to be using our back for this one. All right, give your legs a little shake out. Okay, we're going to do some knee raises next. So again, just make sure your hip width apart, kind of get your stance set up first. And then you're going to bring one knee up, pull it into your chest, just give it a little hug in, and then lower it down. Same on the other side, pull that knee in, pull it into your chest, give it a little squeeze in, and lower it down. Let's do a few more of those. Just pausing for a moment at the top, playing with your balance. All right, and then let's do it without the hands. So how high can you get that leg? And can you hold it without falling over? Maybe. So it won't come as high as you're not using your arms to pull it in, but that doesn't matter. Just see how high you can get it. All right. Now this time as you lift your knee, don't lift it as high, and then can you turn it out to the side? Bring it back in through centre and lower it down. Let's keep doing that. So lift, out, and lower. Notice as you turn your knee out, is it making your whole pelvis want to twist? Can you keep your pelvis still? And just turn the knee out. Do one more on each side. Good. And then lower down. And then just pedal your feet. Just give them a little moment there. Okay, I'm going to come down on... Excuse me. So we're thinking about the back of the rib cage being heavy. Sinking down into the mat. The back of your pelvis is heavy and anchored into the mat. Roll your chest and shoulders open and just take a few breaths there. So remember, if you feel like your chin is pointing to the ceiling and your neck feels really horrible, grab something to pop under your head, just to make you more comfortable there. And similarly, if you feel like your ribs are poking up towards the ceiling, get something under your head which will allow your ribs to relax down and allow your back to release a little bit more. And we're going to start here with some floor angels. So arms down by your sides, palms are facing up towards the ceiling. When you're ready, you're going to slowly slide your arms out and along the floor and up towards your head. Only take them as high as you can maintain those ribs down. So if the ribs start to lift, don't go any higher, and then slowly come back down. So just move at your own pace here, moving with the speed of your breath. So let's refine that a little bit this time. So we're going to make sure that the thumbs are down on the floor and we're externally rotating those arms. So thumbs are down, let's have a little bend in the elbow, lift the elbow off the floor and do the same thing, slide your thumbs along the floor and up towards your head. So it might feel like a bigger stretch through your chest, your shoulder and your upper arm. So keep thinking about turning the arm out. Again, don't go too high. Good. One more here. And then as your arms come down by your sides, this time we're going to float the arms up towards the ceiling. As you inhale, we're going to reach our fingertips towards the ceiling, letting your shoulder blades lift off the mat. And as you exhale, your shoulder blades are going to anchor back down onto the mat. So arms stay straight. Inhale, reach for the ceiling, and then exhale, anchor back down. Let's do a few of those. As your shoulder blades anchor back down onto the mat, this time we're going to hold there. And we're going to take the arms overhead towards the floor behind you. Again, only go as far as you can maintain your ribs down. And then pull your arms back to the ceiling. Let's do it with the breath. So inhale as your arms go overhead. And exhale as your arms come back towards the ceiling. Let's do a few of those. Shoulder blades stay anchored on the mat. Try and keep the back of the ribs heavy on the mat. Two more. As your arms come back up towards the ceiling this time, just pause there for a moment. So we're going to slide the opposite leg out. We're going to do single arm, single leg. So you're going to take one arm overhead and the opposite leg is going to slide out long on the mat, and really take a moment to stretch fingertips to toes as far away from you as you can, and then pull both back into centre. Same on the other side, opposite arm, opposite leg reaches away and really stretch and pull back into centre. Use your breath, inhale as you reach and exhale as you come back in. Notice how your core is having to work really hard to stabilise and keep everything else still. It's just the arm and the leg that's moving. Your pelvis shouldn't be rocking around, your spine should be nice and still. Good. One more on each side. And then pause again when you come into centre. Okay, so this time we're going to take the arms out to a T. Okay, so both arms are going to open out, go as close down towards the floor as you can without lifting your ribs, and then bring your arms back up towards the ceiling. Do that again, so opening out and back up towards the ceiling. Notice if your shoulders are sneaking up to around your ears. Try and keep those shoulders relaxed and down away from your ears. 2 more. Pause when you get back to the ceiling this time. So again, we're going to do like we did with the last movement. We're going to do opposite arm, opposite leg. This time as your arm opens out, the opposite knee is just going to drop out to the side, and then both pull back in and up towards the ceiling. So inhale as the arm and the leg drop out, and then exhale as they pull back in. Again, your abdominals are working hard to try and maintain that stable centre. So your pelvis shouldn't be tipping as your knee drops out to the side. Think about your hip bones pointing up towards the ceiling, and make sure that as your knee drops out, they don't move. Now when you finish that last one, just pull your knees into your chest, give your knees a little hug, and let's just rock gently side to side. Just giving your back a little bit of a massage and releasing any tension. Alright, we're going to give your arms and upper body a little break, and we're going to do a little bit more with the lower body this time. So let's go back to feet and knees hip width apart. And we're going to do our single knee fold. So this is where again we're going to really rely heavily on our abdominal muscles to try and stabilise and keep everything nice and still. So take a breath. As you exhale, I want you to bring one leg into a tabletop position. Inhale as you lower that leg down. Exhale, lift the other leg into a tabletop position, and inhale, lower down. So we're going to keep switching sides. Lifting the leg on your exhale, because that's when your abdominals tend to reflexively start to work. Notice as you bring your leg in, if your pelvis is tipping back, and keep that pelvis super still, so it's just the leg that's moving, everything else is super still. And you don't need to bring your leg in so far that your bottom lifts away from the mat. Good. Alright, as your leg comes into tabletop this time, hold it there, and we're going to bring the second leg up as well. So take another breath, and as you exhale, bring that second leg up. We're going to do toe taps here now. So as you inhale, you're going to tap your toe down onto the mat, and as you exhale, pull that leg back into tabletop. Keep going, inhale to tap, and exhale to lift. It's asking quite a lot of your abdominal muscles, so if it's too much for you, go back to having your feet down and lifting one leg at a time. And notice as you exhale and you bring that leg into tabletop, make sure that you aren't bulging in your abdominals, so make sure you can't feel your belly kind of really getting really solid with all of that pressure and reaching for the ceiling. And also make sure that you aren't bearing down. We don't want that sensation of bearing down, putting too much pressure, not only on your abdominals but also on your pelvic floor. We want everything to be just working nicely. Alright, as your leg comes back up to tabletop this time, pull your knees into your chest, give your knees a little hug, and just rock again side to side. We're going to add the arms to that move this time. So we're going for our dead bugs now. So when you're ready, bring your legs back into tabletop and take your arms up towards the ceiling. Again, opposite arm, opposite leg. As your arm reaches away, your opposite toe taps onto the mat, and they both pull back to centre. Don't forget the breath. Inhale as you reach away, and exhale to pull back to centre. Nice and controlled. Remember, we don't want to be tipping our pelvis. We don't want to be bulging in our abdominals. And if it's too much, you can just go back to just arms or just legs. It's a really good way of strengthening your abdominal muscles and also creating that stamina that we also need. Can you do one more on each side? And then again, knees in, give your knees a little hug, and let's rock gently side to side. So I want you to grab something. We're going to do the log pull over now. So grab something that you can hold on to. So whether that's a cushion, a block, half dome ball, anything that you've got handy. And here's a block I've got here. Oops. Because I'm going to flip everything over. Okay. So whatever you've got, I'm going to take it up towards the ceiling. Now this time I want you to straighten your legs out long. So legs are going to be out long. If that bothers your back, it starts to make you feel like it's creating tension in your back, then go back to bent knees. Otherwise we're going to take the arms to the ceiling. Whatever you're holding on to, try and hold it with flat palms rather than gripping. So can you press your palms into it? Elbows are drawing in towards each other and we've got a slight bend in the elbow. From here, inhale as your arms go overhead and then exhale as you come back to the ceiling. Inhale, arms go overhead and exhale back to the ceiling. Keep going. Again, ribs stay down. So you can play with this. You could have something that has a little bit more weight to it. Obviously, the heavier it is, the more your abdominals are going to have to work. And you wouldn't want to go too heavy. Keep that slight bend in the elbow. Elbows drawn in towards each other because tension in the elbows tends to make them flare out to the sides a little bit. Can you do two more like that? And the last one. And then we're going to get rid of whatever you're holding. We're going to bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet together into your cobbler stretch. Let your knees open out to the sides. And then reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Let's interlace our fingers here. Turn your hands over and press your palms to the ceiling, really stretching into your hands. When you're ready, take your arms overhead again, keeping the ribs down, only go as far as you can maintain that really good alignment so that you're getting a true stretch through the shoulders. And then when you're ready, slowly bring your hands back to the ceiling. Bring your fingers apart, really stretch and spread your fingers apart and give them a wriggle. Circle your wrists around. And go the other way. And gently pulling each finger in turn back to really stretch out your fingers. Okay, grab whatever you were using to hold between your hands before. We're going to pop it between the knees. So again, cushion, block, towel, anything, doesn't matter. And we're going to do the knee squeeze now. So we're really going to work the inner thighs now. All right, so get your alignment again. Make sure that you aren't tilting your pelvis towards you. And then when you're ready, take a breath. And as you exhale, you're going to squeeze your block. Inhale as you release. So each exhale you're going to squeeze, and with each inhale, release. Good. So notice if you can feel the muscles of your abdominals working as you squeeze the block. Can you feel anything? Then it doesn't matter if you can't, but it's just trying to create that mind-body connection. We're always working on noticing what our body's doing. So as you squeeze the block, you're using your adductors, you're using your inner thighs, but also at the same time your deep abdominal muscles are working. So just notice, can you feel it? Moving with your breath. Alright, now this time as you squeeze, keep breathing normally, but hold that contraction, hold that squeeze, keep holding, 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 and release. We'll do that again. So as you exhale and you squeeze, hold it, hold, keep breathing, don't hold your breath, and release. Let's do that one more time. I'm going to hold it for a bit longer this time. So on your exhale, you're going to squeeze, and you're going to hold, keep holding, squeeze as hard as you can, keep breathing normally, make sure your pelvis isn't tipping, pelvis hasn't moved, we're using the muscles of the thighs to squeeze,
and not tilting the pelvis, and release. Good job. We're going to do some little squeezes now. When you're ready, we're going to do little pulse squeezes. Let's go. We're going to do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the squeeze. Hold it, hold it, hold it. We're going to do another 10 little squeezes. Are you ready? Squeeze, release. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Get rid of whatever you're holding between your knees. Give your knees a little hug and rock gently side to side. We're going to roll onto our side now and do a little bit of clam work next. So onto your side. So remember, you can have your arm out long or head propped in your hand, whatever feels comfortable for you. Knees are bent, feet roughly in line with your spine, and then check that your pelvis is in good alignment so that you've got one hip bone directly over the other. And then keeping your feet together, you're going to open out that top knee. So this is where we think about having a drink balanced on our hip. And we're just opening that knee as far as we can maintain that stable pelvis. Check in with your ribs here. Make sure that you aren't arching your back and letting those ribs flare forwards. Good, 2 more like this. And then as you close those knees together this time, we're going to float the feet up and do the same here. Again, making sure your pelvis isn't rocking back. Two more. And then lower your legs down. Straighten the legs out long away from you. And really reach that top leg away. Make it as long as you can. And we're going to lift and lower here. So keep reaching that leg. Think about creating length through the waist. You're reaching that leg away so much that we're creating extra length through the waist. Good, all right, and then hold it at hip height for circles. Keep reaching. And reverse that circle. All right, and then lower your leg down super slow all the way down. Let's see if we can get a bit of a stretch as we lower that leg down. And then we're going to lift it back to hip height again. And this time we're going to turn it in. So think about your thigh bone turning in. Toes are going to point down towards the floor. We're going to do it again, leg lift and lower. So you're in that internal rotation. And then circles, still in that turned in position. And reverse, go the other way. And then we're going to lower that leg down, let it have a little stretch. All right, now you know we've got to do all of that in that turned out position next. So lift to hip height again, turning out this time, so toes are going to point up towards the ceiling, and we're going to lift and lower here. And circle around. Oh. And reverse that circle. And lower it all the way down. Oh, give it a little rub. Give it a little pat. Let's come on up and just stretch out that side before we do the other side. So come on up to seated. Bring the leg in that you've just been working and cross it over to the other side. Remember to sit as tall as you can and then twist towards your bent leg, and you can use your arm to scoop that knee in towards you. Make sure you're sitting super tall here, you don't want to be collapsing down. Shall we do the other side? Onto your other side. And get your set up right, so knees bent in front, feet roughly in line with your spine. And make sure that your pelvis is stacked so that one of your little hip bones is on top of the other. When you're happy, feet stay together as you open out that top knee. And making sure that your pelvis doesn't roll back with the leg. Good. Last one. As your knee comes down this time, knees stay down, we're going to lift the feet, and then same thing, opening out the knees, feet stay together. Good, and then lower all the way down. We're going to straighten the legs out long. Really reach the legs as far away from you as you can. Again, think about creating more length through your waist as we lift and lower that leg. Let's take it into circles. Keep reaching. And reverse, go the other way. And lowering that leg down again, lower it all the way down to make the other one slowly try and get a little bit of a stretch through the hip. And then we're going to do it all with that leg in internal rotation. So lift that leg to hip high. Think about turning your thigh bone in, so toes are going to point down towards the floor. And let's lift and lower that leg again. Can we do circles here? Ooh, can you circle the other way? So this is great for the mobility of your hips. It just feels horrible. And lower that leg all the way down. Again, just give it a little break, a little stretch out, and we're going to do it with the leg in that external rotation, so turned out. When you're ready, lift that leg hip high, turn it out. Toes are going to point up to the ceiling this time. Let's go. We're going to do 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's do circles. We're going to do 8 in each direction. You do an 8 one way, reverse and go the other way. Oh, when you're finished, lower that leg down. Let's get that little bit of a hip stretch as we lower the leg down. And then when you're ready, come on up to seated and let's stretch out that side. Again, the leg you've just been working, bring it in towards you. Cross it over to the other side and sit as tall as you can. You're going to twist towards your bent leg and use your arm to scoop that knee in towards your chest. Remember to sit tall and keep twisting. And just take a few breaths here. Good. Alright, I think those legs deserve a bit of a stretch out now. So let's grab our strap and do a strap stretch next. So grab your strap, whatever you've got. And then lie yourself down on your back again and pop the strap just at the base of your toes. And then you're going to reach your other leg out long on the mat. And we want this leg in the strap low enough, so we're trying to get the back of the other thigh down onto the mat. It depends how big your bottom is as well. I need to shuffle a little bit. And we want that neutral pelvis, so have a little feel. Make sure that your hip bones and your pubic bone are on the same level and you've not got your pubic bone lifted higher than your hip bones, as we tend to doing this position a lot. And then the leg that's in the strap, you're going to pull the front of the foot towards you and press your heel away. So here we're trying to release any tension through the back of that leg. It's a hamstring release really more than a stretch. You might not feel a stretch, and that's kind of not really the goal here. It's to release. Let that leg be floppy, so it's just the strap that's holding it up, so let that leg just relax there. And you can check, have a feel at the front of your thigh. Is the front of your thigh rock solid? Are you using the muscles of your thigh to hold it? And try and let these guys have a little break, let them relax. You're holding that leg, you don't need to be holding it with the muscles on the front of your thigh. And then we're going to bring that leg across your body. If it feels okay for you, bring that leg across. But try not to let that hip lift, so you don't want to be coming all the way across. Still keeping yourself anchored, you're just pulling the leg across. This is stretching more into your outer hip now. And then when you're ready, bring that leg back into centre. Let's slightly turn it out and take it out to the side. Only go out as far as you can. Again, maintain that neutral pelvis, so don't let the opposite hip lift. And this time we'll release the inner thighs. The inner thigh. You're only doing one leg, aren't you? A couple of breaths there. And then when you're ready, bring that leg all the way back up into centre. We're going to pop the strap onto the other leg now. So when you're ready, just switch sides. And again, take a moment to get you set up right. Trying to get the back of the free leg down at some point in contact with the mat. And then pulling the front of the foot towards you of the leg that's in the strap. Let that leg be floppy again, it's just heavy in the strap. Try and let the front of your thigh be as relaxed as possible. And just take a few breaths there. Bringing that leg across your body if it feels good. If it doesn't feel right for you, you can always keep it in centre. And then bring your leg back in through centre, and we're going to take it out to the side. Alright, when you're ready, bring that leg back in through centre and then lower that leg down. We're going to get rid of the strap, so pop it to the side. And then let's lengthen both legs out long and take your arms overhead and just take a moment to stretch from fingertips to toes. Make yourself as long as you can. From here we're going to take it into our crescent stretch. So walk your legs to the right, to the right, to the right. And then arms and upper body also to the right. Now if that's enough of a stretch, stay there. Or you can cross your left ankle over your right. And with your right hand you can grab your left wrist and just give it a little pull just again to increase the stretch. If it's too much, you can release the arms. You don't have to do both arms and legs together. Just do what feels right for you. But breathing into that stretch, you're trying to get as much movement through the left side of your body as you can. So as you take a deep inhale, can you feel that left side of your ribcage expand? Stretching the intercostal muscles, which are the muscles between your ribs. You want to give them a little bit of a stretch. Stretching through the muscles of your waist. So this is a really beneficial stretch, and ideally you'd stay here for maybe 5 minutes on each side if it felt good to you, but we're not going to do that. We're going to release the arms. Walk your legs back into the centre. You can always do this for yourself. Walk your legs to the left this time. Take your arms back up overhead, and again, arms and upper body also to the left. If that's enough of a stretch, stay there, or you can cross your right ankle over your left. And with your left hand, grab your right wrist, give it a little pull. And taking those deep breaths. Does it feel the same on both sides? So often you'll have more mobility on one side than the other. So notice as you take those deep inhales whether you can feel any more movement on this side. Or does it feel more stiff? Just notice. Again, let's just stay here for a few more breaths. Good, alright, and then when you're ready, release your arm, release your legs. Moving slowly, you're going to bend your knees one at a time, and then bring them in towards your chest to give your knees a little hug again, and just rock gently from side to side. We're going to roll over onto our front now, so when you're ready, roll over onto your front. I'm going to have the hands down on the mat, one hand on top of the other, and you can rest your forehead down onto your hands. And keep my head up just so that you can hear me, but you rest your head down. And then pubic bone anchored into the mat. Think about slightly tucking your tailbone to give more length through your lower back, so you don't want to be creating tension and shortness here. And then your legs can either be hip width apart or squeezing together, whichever feels better for you. So we're going to do our hip extension here. So you're going to reach one leg away from you, make that leg as long as you can, and allow that leg to lift out of the mat. And then slowly lowering back down, and do the same on the other side. So reaching, lengthening that leg, and then lowering down. So we're going to keep going. Making sure that your pubic bone stays in contact with the mat the whole time. So as you reach your leg away from you, does it make your pelvis want to twist? And see if you can keep your pelvis anchored into the mat. Notice who's doing the work here. So we want your lower back to be as quiet and as soft and relaxed as possible, because we want your glutes and your hamstrings, so the bottom and the back of your thighs should be doing all of the work here. So if you feel like your lower back is doing a lot of work, just relax for a minute, have a little wriggle, and then just get that set up again. So slight tuck of the tailbone, and reach the legs away. And if you're not sure that your glutes are doing anything, get your hand back there, kind of give them a poke, wake them up a little bit, and then often they'll start to work. Good. Alright, as you lower your leg down this time, we're going to keep our legs down. We're going to do a little bit of upper body now, a little bit of back extension. So, we're going to keep the back of the neck long, and as you inhale, press your hands into the mat and think about the back of your head and the back of your neck reaching up towards the ceiling like somebody's lifting you by the scruff of your neck, and then we're going to exhale and we're going to lower back down. Let's do a few of those. So as you inhale, you're lifting slightly away from the mat, and as you exhale, you're lowering back down. Notice if your shoulders are up around your ears, can you think about your shoulders pulling as far away from your ears as you can? So maybe think about armpits coming down towards your waist. And lower. If you're feeling this in your lower back, you might be thrusting your ribs a little bit here. So make sure that you aren't pressing your ribs into the mat. If anything, you want to pull your ribs slightly away from the mat. So you're pulling the ribs into your body. And then hopefully taking the pressure off your lower back. Can you do two more there? And then as you lower down this time, we're going to bring the hands just in front of the shoulders and then push yourself up and back into your rest position. Take your bottom back towards your heels and reach your arms forwards and just hold here for a couple of breaths. From here we're going to go into our cat-cow. So we're going to come up onto all fours. Want the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Take a breath. And as you exhale, you're going to tuck your bottom under, so round through your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, and then let your head just hang between your arms, pressing your upper back towards the ceiling. Just hold here for a couple of breaths, really pressing into that stretch. And then when you're ready on your next exhale, you're going to go the other way. So you're going to stick your bottom out this time. Roll through your lower back, your middle back, your upper back. Think about your chest coming through your arms this time, and your head is the last thing to move. Let's do a few of those. Just move with the speed of your breath. You're always starting with your tail and finishing with your head. We're trying to make the movement as smooth as possible, so try and let that movement just flow. It should feel nice. When you come back through centre this time, we're going to hold it there and we're going to go back onto our back again. So roll yourself back onto your back again for a spine twist. So this time we're going to bring the feet and the knees together and take our arms out to the sides, palms facing up towards the ceiling so that you can keep your chest and shoulders open. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, let your knees roll to one side and your head can go to the opposite side if that feels good to you. Inhale as your knees come through centre, and exhale, take them over to the other side. Again, it's just moving at your own pace. And this feels good to you. Try and keep the back of your rib cage, your shoulder blades anchored onto the mat. So you're only going to take your knees over as far as you can maintain that stable upper body so your rib cage doesn't shift. So we're getting a twist through the waist. As you come back through centre this time, let's hold it there and then take your feet wide. So go towards the edges of your mat, so feet and knees are wide. Same movement here, take a breath and as you exhale, both knees roll to one side, but you've still got that big space between the knees and the feet. Really nice stretch through your hips, as well as through your waist. As you come back through centre this time, hold it there. Going to bring your knees into your chest, give your knees a little hug again and just rock gently side to side. I'm going to have one hand on the top of each knee, open your knees apart and circle around. And then reverse that circle and go the other way. And then when you're ready, let's come on up to seated. We're going to do a little bit of seated work now. So if you feel that you need a cushion to sit on or a block or something like that, feel free to find something that just makes you a little bit comfortable. All right. And then
then just let your shoulders relax down away from your ears. And we're going to tilt our head, so dropping one ear down towards your shoulder. Just hold it there. When you're ready, come up through centre and over to the other side. Again, just drop your ear down towards your shoulder. Just hold it there. Let's go back to that first side. Head comes up through centre. Take it over. This time we're going to add that opposite shoulder lift. So the opposite shoulder is going to pull up towards your ear and then pull it down, creating more of a stretch through the neck and the shoulder. Just do a couple of those on each side and then switch and do the same on the other side. Again, lifting your shoulder and then gently pulling it down. Let's do 2 or 3 of those. Good job. When you finish those, bring your head back up through centre. We're going to reach our right arm out, or any arm, it doesn't matter, arm out. Imagine that you're holding that cup of water and you're going to tip that water out, so your arm's in that external rotation. Take your arm out to the side and we're going to keep a slight bend, so a soft elbow. Think about your elbow reaching away from your shoulder, so we're creating our own resistance here. And then again, let's tip our head the opposite way, so your head's going to go the opposite way to your arm. And hold here. Notice if your opposite shoulder where the arm is out to the side, has that shoulder tried to sneak up to your ear? Can you keep that shoulder pulled down? And then gently bring your head back up through centre and bring that arm back in. Let's do the same on the other side. So arm reaches forwards, externally rotate, so tip your cup of water out and take your arm out to the side. Keeping that soft elbow, slight bend. We're going to reach that elbow away and let your head again tilt to the opposite side. Notice if the shoulders sneaking up to your ears, keep the shoulders down. And when you're ready, bring your head up and release the arm. We're going to do both arms together this time. We're going to reach both arms forwards, externally rotate both arms, tip your water out, arms out to the side, keeping that slight bend, thinking about reaching the elbows away from the shoulders. Drop your shoulders down, make sure they aren't lifted. And then we're going to drop chin to chest this time, so letting your head hang. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly bring your head back up and release your arms. Let your arms just come back down. Rest your hands and let's do some shoulder rolls. Get as much movement through your shoulders as you can. And then we're going to reverse that and go the other way. Let's do some head turns now. So just gently turning your head one way and then the other. Alright, we're going to come back up to standing. Take your time, but come on up to standing. Okay, so we're going to come back up to standing now. We're going to have feet hip width apart. Have your weight back through your heels. And we're going to rise up onto the balls of the feet. So don't come all the way onto your toes because it makes you kind of face plant and fall forwards. So rising up onto the balls of your feet and then slowly lowering down with control. Let's do that again. Rise up onto the balls of your feet and slowly lower down. One more like that. Making sure as you come up that your ankles aren't rolling out to the side. You want to be going straight up and straight down. Let's add some arms this time. As you come up, arms are going to reach for the ceiling, big stretch, and then lower the arms as you lower your heels. Let's do that again. Reach and lower. Try and go nice and slow. One more time. Come up and slowly lower all the way down. Well done. So that's you finished for now. Take some time to just kind of move your body in a way that feels good, and for the rest of the day try and think about how you're moving your body, and if you can get out and do a little bit of a walk today, that would be amazing for your body too. Thank you.